So, right, this moment of springtime and expansion and feeling the energy come up and out. And, for some of us, it's like, oh, here's the expansion. And are we going to have to be like still constricted, and like feeling into like what's the external and what's the internal, and how do we balance those out, especially if they don't match? It's the cycle, like aligning with the cycles is always an interesting study, because sometimes we feel right in line with the energies of nature and right in line with the energy of the moment. And then other times we don't. I think I've shared before of, when I lost my son and was out of the hospital, I mean, I felt like it was winter for 2 straight years. Like summer came and I was like, why are people like, what is going on? Everything was out and celebratory, and I was still very much in a winter phase. And so, how we can align in a way that feels true to us is those little micro shifts and micro movements within us to see like, okay, well, even if we, for those who don't necessarily feel like the springtime, like, yay, it's happening. It's, you can also like, what's that little moment in your life? Because I'm sure even if it doesn't color your whole experience right now, if you can look and focus, there's going to be those small, moments or small movements where it's like, oh, I'm starting a routine in the morning. There's a birthing there. There's a birthing in my journaling practice. There's, I'm having, more connectivity with my sisters or my family, and so it's a matter, I think, of turning our awareness from either the macro, the micro, to see where's that energy that, we're in alignment with nature, which, being in alignment with nature, how I view it, is also being in alignment with our original blueprint, because we are children of the earth. We are made of the elements. And so when we are really in tune, and when we used to live really in tune with the cycles, and our whole life depended on whether we be traveling to make sure that we weren't in the wind, in the snow, or we know that this is the place to go where there would be harvest, so it's a matter of not just aligning from this external place of remembering what it's like to, match the seasons, but also going back to the ancient self and going back to our original blueprint, because it's in there. It's just that there's been layers covered up. And I think especially now, because right now we're having so much like blue light screen time, it's just not natural. It's just simply not natural. I know, I'm noticing I really need to keep making adjustments, whether it's, have this thing right in front of me in the computer that helps block it, or making sure to get the blue light glasses, at night, because the longer we normalize that this is our way of connection, and then what's also happening on the frequency, the more we can get off sync with what our natural rhythm is. So I think it's just so important, whether you are feeling really excited about the shift in the seasons, and it's, you might live somewhere where there are, evidence of the budding of springtime and new life, rebirth, like, oh, there might be some sunny days. Or I know some of you live in like Minnesota, and where it's like, I talked to a friend, they're like, there's 10 feet of snow outside. So not feeling very springy, and, but where is it internally? Like if we really get quiet, where's that internal shift? And even those who don't live in like snow places, but, I have a friend who's out in, Kauai, and the seasons are there, but they're subtle, so it's like how to like listen in a deeper way. I know when I grew up in LA, I mean, we didn't have like huge seasons. One of my friends I still keep in touch with from high school, she put a post. She's like, I'm overwintered. I'm like, your kids are wearing shorts. I don't know about that. Like, but it was just like this. But I remember growing up and it was like, ooh, you had to wear a sweatshirt, even though you had shorts on, but you had a sweatshirt on. And, now that I live somewhere where I like pretended I put on like a dress, but I'm like, oh, there's a wood stove fire going and it's like actually cold. Um, but that like how to like shift subtly to match, what is really truly wanting to birth in your life. I am super excited about spring. I'm just like ready. Let's go. Um, But on that note, before we get into the activation, because I'll show a little bit, it's like we're going to snippet like what's still alive also in you, like what do we want to clear from the last 6 months. So if we look at the equinox coming up, that point of balance, and then also the point of balance that was at the autumn equinox, which is really the only 2 times of the year that we're at that still point, where there's not that predominant yin energy going into the winter, and it's not that predominant yang energy going into summer or spring. And so we're at this moment of pause. And so these are really special days to reflect. I created a course that I'll put a link to. Some of you might have seen it in the email, that really goes deep into this process. We're going to do like snippets of it today, but it goes deep into, what is yours? What is still lingering? What are the hitchhikers from the winter, and not just from, the things that aren't ours, but what is looping? What is not in present time and is kind of snagging at your energy field. So when you really step forward into this new birth and new creation, you can really come from a more available place. And then also, one thing I encourage you to do this weekend, or even in the next couple weeks, so you don't have to, like, the length of time in this portal that's open for different cultures, it's a different time frame, but within a 10 to 14 day window of really connecting with the elements in a way that is deep listening and asking yourself, here it is, this energy, like deep from the earth, you can feel it tuning into the earth mother, is this energy pushing up. So how can you align with it in a way that really feels nurturing and sustainable? And one more thing before we get going is, one thing that I feel, I truly feel and believe right now, is the most radical revolutionary act we can do to create the timeline that we actually want to create, and not the timeline that's being projected at us or programmed or patternized, and like all the shit that's going on in the world, is to hold that vibration of joy, to hold that vibration of love, to hold that vibration of hope. And I was just in a circle with some sisters, and we've been getting together to also consciously grieve and work through the energy, and pray for the children, pray for so much. So part of the circle is really a grief tending, and then the part rising up out into the Hanak Pacha, or the upper realms. And what I have noticed, just even in our own practices, and we kind of take, it's a study, like prayer work is a study. I'm going to engage in this way. Is there a shift, like there? And I think it's really good to look at your own practice as a study, to see like what needs to be shift. I've been saying the same affirmations or the same prayer. I don't feel a shift in consciousness. Why is that? Oh, I need to shift that. That's not in alignment with this part of myself. Okay, I need to tend to this part of myself. So what I in this study and is to be able to hold joy and hope and miracle consciousness in the midst of the unknown, in a way that really the fear, the collective fear right now is pretty intense. And so to be able to hold that, I think, is, if that is the only thing you ever do, that's profound. So to really see in this birthing process and what is happening for you in this moment of shifting of the seasons, not only what do you want to create on the physical realm, but what do you want to create in your own state of being, right? So that consciousness is like we create on the outside, but what's that consciousness that is actually the root of something? And then how do we hold that? How do we hold that when we talk to people that or engage with folks that don't think like us? How do we hold that when we engage with family? How do we hold that when we are with our peer group, and to amplify? So however, it's, you're inspired, especially in these coming weeks, and as we shift into more of a external focus and connection, whether it's the land or others, is, asking yourself and asking your community, those that you're in touch with, it's, that it's your sacred circles is like, okay, how can we up level our prayer work, basically? How can we up level what we are doing? And the doing is beingness, right? So how can we support each other in holding that frequency within that shifts? And you don't even have to say a word. You might trigger the fuck out of people if you're holding that. And that's good because it breaks the pattern. We want to break people out of the state believing that fear or anxiety and all overwhelm, all those are becoming normalized, right? We are divine creators on this planet. Life is a gift. And this is not the first moment in history where things are intense, and we have to work at remembering that, right? So, how does your presence help to either break someone out of the sleep or the programs? Just by your smile at the grocery store, like really looking someone in the eye. I think now with the mask whole situation, I know myself, I've just had to really like it tends to, like, my physical body wants to lean over because you're like in this, and to really like tap on my heart. This is a good, just a practice. You're tapping on the thymus, which is immune system, but you tap just like, okay, here I am, I'm upright. And I'm going to be just like, look at you in the eye and just see you. When I go into the grocery store, and I was just one time just observing, we've all just been almost like afraid of each other now. It's like, oh, and just like with the person who's checking you out, like, hi, how are you doing? And you don't even have to say it, but just like giving that moment. So I really think this is a time that's supporting us energetically to kind of to bust through the layers of the crust, like the layers of the earth, like all of these, plants are courageous. They're like, okay, I'm going to like bust through my little nest of the earth and the soil that I've been safe here in the winter. And who the fuck knows if it's going to be warm out? I know right here, like there's been already some flowers that come up, and then it was like super cold this weekend. And someone's like, it's supposed to snow, So I think that how can we keep breaking through the own layers of our own consciousness, the own layers of our own patterns without a guarantee? Without a guarantee that you're going to be received in a way that doesn't hurt yourself or damage your ego. You're going to be received in a way that's like celebrated. It's like, how do we really just keep showing up and up leveling our prayer and up leveling our presence, regardless of the guarantee of outcome of how it's going to be received? So that is my little tidbit for the morning of let's do this, because I won't even, yep, let's just, ha 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 ha. All right, love. So as always, you're going to get comfy. And allowing your breath to start to settle you into the moment. Perhaps taking some, or allowing some sighs to come forth on the exhale. Just tuning in to where you're at this morning, what you need. Perhaps sending some breaths some gratitudes to parts of your body that might feel in tension. Or perhaps your mind's in a loop this morning, or your emotions. Saying hello to Pachamama, the Earth Mother below you. Pachamita, Pachamama, that sacred, holy place where you reside. And then listen to the response. So you're saying hello from your heart, and there's a hello back if we pause and listen. Feeling the strength of your spine from the base of your spine all the way to the top of your head. Allowing the petals to unfurl on your crown, saying hello to that eighth center, the Ba, the soul light, a foot above the head. From here, connecting into the heart of the divine, to your divine, the heart of God, the divine mother, the universe, creator, the great mystery that goes by 1,000 names, whose essence is love. So as you connect to the divine, the energy that animates all life, as it comes into your body, the layers of your field around your body, the aura, just getting curious, like, do you feel the presence of love? And saying hello to your sacred heart. I'm feeling into sensing as your heart lights up with your presence, all the hearts lighting up across the globe on this call right now, and those who listen later. And as our hearts light up, energy shifts around our bodies, around our homes, our communities. We sit at the sacred fires together, the open hearts, feeling connected to the Earth Mother, Pachamama. Feeling the grace of the divine. Gratitude for this moment, And for the turning of the wheel, that there are natural cycles, that no matter how intense winter can be, that there is a spring, however subtle or slight. So tuning into your body and your energy field. And with curiosity, just hitting, where do you feel like you are still in winter? Where's your presence? So asking for the energies that might be clinging on to light up. You might feel sensations in your body or around your field. I'm going to name some things I'm seeing in the collective. I'm just going to name some anxiety. And also with that, this overwork of striving to know what the future will be, striving to control so we don't feel the anxiety. Also honoring the depth, really seeing the depth of presence, the depth of prayer, and the depth of sitting within in this last 6 months. Just honoring that place within you that's willing to go there. So allowing energies to come off your field, either through way of the grounding cord from the base of the spine to the heart of the earth, or simply gifted to the light of the divine. Seeing some energy off the front of the heart, the throat. And placing your awareness in the center of your head, right into that pituitary pineal conjunction. The violet flame is actually coming in. This is a surprise. Allowing your attention to rest right in the center of your head. Imagining or sensing a violet light, violet fire. It's growing right into your head. And any stuck energy, any looping energy, any energy I'm sensing a lot that's not yours, beliefs, thoughts, worry, from the frontal lobes deep into the brain, the amygdala, just letting your whole brain get consumed like it's lit up in neon violet color. And a golden light coming in from the crown. So washing off the crown energy as well. Some dust bunnies on the crown center, the petals. Visualizing, imagining, or sensing your crown as a golden lotus flower, just opening up, or a golden rose, however you feel. This golden light is connected to your own knowing, your own trust. Beautiful. So bringing your awareness, letting all of that go, just back to your energy field in your body. Just tuning into the energy of rebirth. Noticing what lights up in your field just by the simple vibration of the word rebirth. You feel like the energy is way out in front of you, like you're looking at it across a football field. Can you feel it right inside your being? We're going to invite the energy of rebirth, renewal, to come into your sphere, come into your being. And just notice if there's resistance or if it lands right somewhere, particularly if it's already a frequency you can feel in your body, asking it to amplify. Allowing the energy of the rose frequency to bless that place of rebirth within, to bless your field. Mother Mary's coming in, Mary Magdalene, Kuan Yin, her dragon. Breathing in, relax into the field. Receive. And deepen your breath. Open. And feel. Staying with what is, as long as you feel called. And then if you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes slightly, just taking in a little bit of light. If anyone, of course, as always, wants to share their experience, anything that came up, if there's something that you feel is you've got insight on, like what wants to be worked with to clear from this winter or from just current state, and then the energy of rebirth starting to really activate. So, in my experience, especially when I think the transitions between winter and spring can feel the sometimes jarring or just the most distinct, because again, even if externally it's still, you know, pretty cold out, there's such a distinct invitation, you know, from the internal world to the external. You know, we get cabin fever, we're like, oh, ready to see humans. And so it's letting your system get used to, like, this is what's coming. You know, I know for introverts and myself, just in relation to that, I need some prep time. You know, it's like if we went from like winter straight to like high summer, I'd be like, what's going on? Why aren't people in bed by 8 o'clock? um, so really, like, keep courting, courting the energy of rebirth, courting the energy of renewal, and like how that shows up. And again, if you want to dive deeper into the clearing process, also, and to really anchor in, I created a course that will guide you. And there's 3 different activations, 3 different teachings. And if you do decide to do it, and I know that some of you have already got it and are on the call, I'm going to put it in the chat if you want to sign up for it. Don't skip the journal prompts. Just don't, especially those who don't like to journal, because that is truly where the alchemy from the subconscious mind to the conscious mind, you'll get insights. And, light a candle, get some chocolate, projecting there, but do something that really is just like, yay, here we go, and see what happens, because that's really going to make yourself available for what wants to show up in your life. And I guarantee it's not anything that you could mentally name right now. And I think that's the beauty of just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper, because I've got all sorts of ideas of what I want to create in this next little bit. But does that mean that's actually what wants to be birthed from my soul place, or just what's in alignment with what energy is available, not only with myself, but with the synchronicities available? So I really highly recommend going deep with it to see. And that way too, what you're doing is you're opening up the timelines, you're opening up possibilities and potentialities in a way that will help synchronicities and what we coin as miracles really take off. So yeah, enjoy that. So the link is in the chat and also went out in an email. And another announcement was my other announcement. Oh, coming up in April, which I'm really excited about, is we're going to do a 7-day live resurrection consciousness. And it's, I think, in the middle of April. And it's going to be every day. The recordings, of course, will be available. And it'll be about an hour and a half of just diving in deep and some teachings there of how to align on different levels, but also to really work with where different parts of the self have been hijacked in some ways through patterns, through programs. And then really it's meant to be more of an intensive, since we'll be together for 7 days for those who feel called, and an intense time to let's really like shift and just forget all these other timelines of, like sequential. We're just going to really jump into a higher place so we can be well resourced and well placed in our thrones, placed in our seat as we move forward and these next the months that are going to be more activating. Because I find that if you're not in alignment with that, and also in your consciousness that's ready to expand, the beauty and the miracles that are also so available right now is profound. And to really not just court that, but demand it. So right now we're in the courting process, and then then it's time to no, I actually just command and demand this. This is my reality. This is what I'm living for, and I'm going to hold this. And then doing the work and the activations, and we're going to be working really closely with Sisters of the Rose. And for those who might not be familiar with that term, it's working with different light beings and that hold certain frequencies. So Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, and if that's like a stretch, you can, as archetypal forces, but also as ascended beings that are assisting us. So it's a juicy, I really love this time period in spring. Because it is such a moment of creation to pick which timeline and what we're going to create for these upcoming months of summer and even into the fall. So it's a ripe moment. All right, loves, have a wonderful week and weekend, and I'll see you next week. And I think that's it for the announcements. Replay will be up, and if you feel called to share within your friends, I really appreciate it. Especially if you've messaged me on Facebook, you know that I've not been on Facebook. So I've just been on less and less. And so just seeing what we can do, like root style. And yeah, just love y'all so much.